Conservatives
He's having
have
one
had.
tomorrow.
In other words,
Gentlemen,
it's
I didn't know you were so concerned about our procedures.
You,
Gentlemen.
totally unelected, have plotted this.
Me?
With yeah.
What, and you're elected,
You're
are you?
up here speaking about him. No, but he's.
No, but that's because the minister's going to a
he's got
cabinet
a, he's
meeting.
got a parliamentary
Gentlemen,
party. You're the one who cooked it up. You're the one who's cooked this up with Peter
my
Mandelson.
God.
Let this
Unbelievable. Adam,
debate
calm
carry on later.
Calm down.
Well, I actually
Let's
care
just
about this
remind
country.
you,
You think I don't care
as
about
Gordon
it? You think I
Brown
don't
said
care
a few
about it?
minutes
I don't think
ago,
the
that
evidence
seems
is
to
there.
have
Okay.
led to
Sly News is set to be shut down after years of plummeting ratings and plummeting revenues after its left-wing turn. So Guido Fawkes was the first to report this news that would of course leave the COVID party gals, Kay Burley and Beth Rigby, out of a job. And in the past, I never used to celebrate journalists losing their jobs. But here's the thing. Sly News has become a nefarious, malignant force in Britain. It spent years branding Brexiteers as racists and trying to overturn the result of the biggest democratic vote in British history. It then spent years attempting to plunge this country into an unnecessary lockdown. Sly News, I believe, has also been responsible for editorial interference. It completely ignored the rise of Boris Johnson, and it does all it can now to pretend that Nigel Farage doesn't exist, even removing him from their graphics on election night because they just hoped he wouldn't get any seats. And talking about that election night, I've got to play you Kay Burley's orgasmic reaction where her folk in the Labour Party, she realised were finally going to come to power. Now, this is not impartial journalism. It's embarrassing schoolgirl stuff, and it's moments like this that prove that actually our country would be better off without Sly News.
Whoa. Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm going.
Alex Armstrong, I will not mourn the loss of Sly News. The mainstream media has now become such a negative force. It's actually time to just get rid. This country would be better off without an organisation like that, which, by the way, is funded by American billionaires who are no longer prepared to lose £100 million a year.
Yeah. Look, as soon as you mention Sly News, that clip always comes to my mind. It is completely disgraceful how celebratory they were on a national news program about a general election. It showed their bias seeping through and through. And like, it wasn't the first time. We've seen Kay and Beth and all these people give softball questions to Keir Starmer for years now. They even did it in his first few days, in his first few weeks as Prime Minister. But interestingly, we have seen them changing tact really quickly the last 2 weeks, to the extent where I've even been sharing clips of Kay Burley attacking Lisa Nandy, Beth Rigby going hard on Keir Starmer. I think that they've had a little message from their investors to say, whatever it is you're doing, it is completely plummeting our ratings. There's no other explanation for Sly News to find their morality all of a sudden. But you know what, Dan? I am 100% with you on this. I will not mourn the loss of Sly News. It has failed the British public. It has pretended to be unbiased and has been a wolf in sheep's clothing. And that clip there always should remind the British public of exactly what Sky News stands for.
Oh, big time. Big time. And the thing is, Charlie, I think when the public finally lost faith with Sly News was, do you remember Kay Burley and Beth Rigby talking constantly about, we need to lock down. We need to lock down harder. Every single press conference, Beth Rigby would be there saying, why are you not locking down harder? People should lose their jobs if they didn't follow the lockdown. Let's shame people. Do you remember they called people like us who didn't want to follow the rules COVID idiots? And then it emerged that Beth Rigby and Kay Burley were out partying, not following the rules themselves, literally acting completely differently behind the scenes than what they told everyone else. And I think from that moment on, I mean, look, they were suspended for 3 months and 6 months, but they're back now. And we know these people are just fakes. And I think the interview that Alex refers to with Lisa Nandy, the only reason Kay Burley was angry is because Lisa Nandy had called out Kay Burley for being at the Taylor Swift concert herself. I mean, Kay Burley said she paid for a ticket. But the point is, Charlie, they're all in it together, aren't they? They're all friends. They all hang out.
Of course they are, yeah. Politics and media, everybody's throwing stones and rocks at each other, forgetting they all live in glass houses, and it's shattered all over the floor. They just haven't realised it yet. One wrong step are going to cut their feet open. And what I would say about the presenters at Sky News is this: you can't trust people that cut their hair using a salad bowl. You just can't.
Oh, goodness me.
Charlie.
Now,
Brilliant.
I want to celebrate, though, some of the best Sly News moments. And I'm not sure which side I should take on this one, because they're both terrible human beings. On one hand, you've got Adam Bolton. On the other, you've got Beth Rigby. And he just goes for her. Watch this. It was never broadcast at the time.
If Beth comes, put her in there. And then she can go away. I know. Just put the f***ing seat in. Have you got the grab? Yeah. Yeah, well, she's got to come and f***ing sit here if she wants to be on telly.
So has the great BJ been speaking yet? No.
Well, in the past few minutes, Mr. Johnson arrived. What the f? Sit down there! Stop f***ing around! Yes. Well, Beth is here. You can see Boris Johnson's speech.
Look at her face. Now, Charlie, I think working with Beth Rigby might have annoyed me, but it just shows you as well, they're actually cretins behind the scenes, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, what people don't realise is this is how you talk to me and Alex before the show goes out. This is what you were saying to us. Sort the camera out,
Don't leak it.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Dan's brilliant. But yeah, like I can imagine that in that world of contempt and incestuous relationships, I can see things boiling over from time to time.
My other favourite moment, though, was when it boiled over on air. And this also involves two of my least favourite people, Adam Bolton and Alistair Campbell. Watch.
More votes and seats
Yes, I
than
know.
me.
Adam, you're obviously upset that David Cameron's not
I'm
Prime
not upset.
Minister.
Either way,
You are. You probably are.
Come on,
Deep down, you probably are.
don't keep casting aspersions on what I
Adam,
think.
calm down.
I am commenting.
Calm
Don't
down.
keep saying
Oh my
what I
God.
think.
This is live on
No,
television.
don't keep telling me what I think. This is what you do. You come on, you say, no one won the election.
Jeremy,
No, don't. You talk to me. I'm fed up with you telling me what I think.
I don't care what you're fed up with. I don't care what you're fed up with. You can say what you like. I can tell you my opinion.
Don't tell me what I think.
I will tell you why I think you're reacting.
Alistair, you're being...
And what's so great is the presenter there, Jeremy. Oh, what was his name? Jeremy. Anyway, they got rid of him because he was too expensive. He'd been there from the start, and he tried to get them under control, but Alistair Campbell and Adam Bolton just kept going at each other.
Conservatives
He's having one
have
tomorrow.
had. In other words,
Gentlemen.
it's
Adam, I didn't know you were so concerned about our procedures.
You,
Gentlemen.
totally unelected, have plotted this
Me?
with yeah.
What, and you're elected?
You're
are you?
up here speaking about him. No, but he's.
No, but that's because the minister's going to a cabinet meeting.
He's got a parliamentary
Gentlemen,
party. You're the one who cocked it up. You're the one who's cooked this up with Peter Mandelson.
God.
Let this debate carry on later.
Calm down.
Well, I should
Let's
care
just
about this
remind
country.
you
Look,
you think I don't care about it?
Gordon
You think I
Brown
don't
said
care
a few
about it?
minutes
I don't
ago
think the
that
evidence
seems
is
to
there.
have led
Jeremy Thompson that was. But Alex, come on, how good is that? How good is that? You have to admit, brilliant television.
Absolute gold. It's gold, isn't it? And Adam Bolton almost sometimes regularly forgets the cameras are rolling and that he's meant to be a professional and that Sky News isn't Adam Bolton News, which I think he would love if it were. But it's absolute gold dust, Dan. I'm so glad you're showing that today because I think we should do a show reel of all the Sly News cock-ups over the last
there's so many. Okay, well, can I show one more that involves Kay Burley and Beth Rigby? Because this one boils my blood. Because how on earth can they claim to be an impartial news network? It's the moment when Burley, live on air, actually begs David Miliband to return to British politics. What? But first, football is back. This is the best time of the year, isn't it? We're talking Premier League in the UK, in the US, NFL Sundays, and college football Saturdays. With that comes the glorious grind of fantasy football lineup. So this is where your inner manager comes alive, setting the perfect fantasy roster, screaming at your TV, making last-minute waiver moves that either make you a hero or the guy everyone ridicules in the group chat. But listen, while you're over here making sure your fantasy team is dialed in, don't let your personal grooming become the guy that gets left on the bench. So this is where Manscaped's Performance Package 5.0 Ultra comes in. It acts as your all-in-one grooming playbook. So from keeping things sharp down below with the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra to taking care of those rogue ear and nose hairs with the Weed Whacker 2.0, this is the lineup that will keep you looking and feeling like a champ. So let me tell you about it. It's a great product. The Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra Groin and Body Hair Trimmer is the franchise player of your grooming roster. With precise trimming capabilities, it's reliable, efficient, and gets the job done without fumbling. Whether it's for a date night, a weekend tailgate, or just everyday grooming, this is the tool you want on your squad. And we're looking at right now the Weed Whacker 2.0, and that is a product that is just so good. Just trust me on that. Now, the Performance Package 5.0 Ultra doesn't stop at grooming essentials. It comes with 2 free gifts, the Boxers 2.0 Midnight Bravo and the Shed 2.0 toiletry bag, premium gear to ensure you're always ready for action, whether at home or on the road. So join the over 10 million men worldwide. I'm one of them who trusts Manscaped, and get ready for kickoff by heading over to manscaped.com. What you need to do is when you check out of the website, use the code Outspoken and you get 20% off and free shipping. So let me repeat the address, www.manscaped.com. Enter the code Outspoken at checkout for 20% off and free shipping. Stay on top of your grooming game and be ready for anything the season throws your way. But now, back to the show.
But we miss you. We need you to come home.
That's a very nice question. That's a very nice way of putting the question. I miss you too. I miss many of my friends and former colleagues in the UK.
Good to talk to you. Maybe we'll convince you next time we have you on the programme, but I know you have to dash, so we'll let you go now. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, Mr. Miliband. Thanks for joining us on the Kay Burley Show this afternoon. So much. Thank you. But do you think, Leader of the Opposition is not holding their feet to the fire, and as a result, the government are getting away with murder?
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? David Miliband, he's been seen as the prince across the water, hasn't he, for a long time, that there was lots of talk he might come back, and would he come and...
Seriously, Charlie, I'm going to say something that I couldn't say when I was on GB News. Did she want to shag him or something?
Very good. Very good. I like that. You never know, she might have done, and it would have been acceptable for her to say that, of course, because she's a woman and you can't say that the other way around as a man.
But just imagine her acting like that with a Conservative politician. So, look, personally, I actually have really strong feelings about all of this, and it's a macro point. The media is changing. We know that because look at the growing influence of the independent media. And I'm not just saying that because I'm here. You guys know my story. You know how I ended up here. It was because of my cancellation in the mainstream media. But I'm a huge believer in the independent media. And actually, Ofcom shouldn't exist whatsoever. Sly News and Channel 4 News and Woke ITV should be able to say, we are loud and proud left-wing news network. and drop the veneer that there's any sense of impartiality which doesn't exist. But they also have to accept that GB News and Talk TV would then be allowed to do the same thing. But what is so ridiculous with this whole setup is that GB News is constantly targeted by the off-communists who probably are next going to try and come for shows like mine online. And this type of thing is just the norm. Left-wing news is just the norm. So let's just make it the news. There should just be no regulation of the media. We need a free media like America has because of the First Amendment.
I completely agree with you, Dan. Look, at the end of the day, Ofcom's whole purpose is to tell you British people are too stupid to make up their own decision from what they see on the screen. It's basically taking what would be a real life conversation saying, what do we have to have an off-communist in person with everybody like China, like the CCP? I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. It is devalued our media over decades now. It's caused plummeting ratings across traditional mainstream media, and they're going to kill the one thing that they're there to protect. And they are killing it. As if Sky News closes down, it will be purely because it's trying to be two things at once, unbiased and biased at the same time, and people can see through that. And the reality is, Dan, is that young people in this country are in waves getting their news from independent journalists like yourself. This is the future, and I can guarantee you're spot on about this. Ofcom will be coming for the internet next.
Oh, yeah. They're going to try and come for me, absolutely. But you know what? Go and have a look at the figures of these so-called great left-wing independent sources like Channel 4 News' new YouTube show. I think it's called The Forecast or something like that, and the news agents. And their numbers are pitiful. Their numbers are pitiful. After 3 months, we're thrashing them. So there's a revolution coming. So glad that you two are a part of it. And we don't need to weep for the loss of Sly News because there's something new building, and I think it's great. So Charlie Sansom, happy birthday boy, and Alex Armstrong, thank you so much for being my fabulous superstar panel this Friday. Have an amazing weekend. Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.